Alright guys, welcome back to Dead Cells. This is T-Nuts again. Going to be attempting another stream here since the first one was such a raging success. And by that I mean at least I didn't die, so I'll take it. Alright. So we're going to be playing survival today. Thank God I actually got a relatively decent neck right off the bat there with one survival scroll. And we are going to be playing Ice Bow with Hemorrhage. So neither of these weapons were actually changed in the newest build, but there is an interesting synergy between them that I think has existed probably since 1.8, where Ice Bow now can get an affix where upon thawing the enemy suffers from bleeding. And first I should probably explain how these weapons work. You know, Ice Bow, relatively quick long range weapon, gives you a brief freeze and a decent slowdown afterward. And the Hemorrhage, very slow ranged weapon, survival scaling, and gets critical hits if the enemy is bleeding. Also applies a bleed, so typically the way you play Hemorrhage is you throw the Hemorrhage, inflict your first bleed stack, which doesn't do much base damage, but the bleed is decent, and then your follow-up hit is going to do a large chunk of damage and inflict more bleed and be a critical hit, so all your additional hits are also critical hits. So what we're going to be doing today is we're actually playing a very common affix from the Ice Bow, and that is that upon thawing, the enemy suffers from bleeding. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to freeze an enemy with that extremely short duration freeze. The Hemorrhage has a long wind up anyway. So then we're going to throw the Hemorrhage almost immediately after hitting the enemy with the Ice Bow, and it will thaw, be bleeding, and get critted instantly. I'll demonstrate right here. And the Hemorrhage doesn't really have any kind of auto-targeting, so gotta line that shot up a little better. As you can see, we're pretty much going to be one-shotting everything for a little while. And the Ice Bow actually does a tolerable amount of damage with that bleed, if you can get the bleed on there. Looks like we've got slowdown after enemies die, too, which is going to be helpful. Caloric shock is really going to be helpful for any large groups. Oh, and just like that, I did get hit by one of those rats. As I was talking about, the Ice Bow struggles a little bit in large packs like that. Very good single target setup, but I just got to be careful to have my skills ready for some of the more challenging AoE situations. This looks amazing. It seems that these crystals don't bleed. Taking an obnoxiously long time to take this elite down. Not really much I can do about that. But not necessarily challenging. here. And a challenge rift. I actually meant to pick up that neck there, but that was definitely a pleasant surprise. We might come back to that in just a little bit, so I can get a little more HP before I start trying to deal with that, or at least maybe a neck that actually gives me some kind of ability to jump better. As you can see, that kind of sparkles every once in a while because I've got a necklace that reveals secret walls. It also reveals secrets on the ground and any various other secrets. Kind of useful. You know, sometimes those can be surprisingly easy to miss. So, you know, maybe not the best combat affix you can get, but some of the affixes are really just not generally useful in almost any situation, so I'll take something that at least does something. There's that 30 kill streak. Should be able to pick up a nice chunk of money after this is over. And that elite could not do anything at all. So this is definitely looking pretty potent against a single target. So as long as I have any kind of AoE skills, I should be set in biomes. Now, bosses are going to be a little trickier. Not all the bosses are freezable, so the route we're going to take today is definitely going to focus on the ones that are. We are going to be avoiding the giant, unfortunately. I love fighting the giant. And Mama Tick. Can't freeze either of them. You can root Mama Tick by hitting her with a freeze, because the water around her freezes, but she herself won't freeze. And the thing about this ice bow is that you have to be able to freeze something in order for that bleed to happen. You can't just get the slowdown or the hit for the bleed. It has to actually be frozen, thaw out, and then start bleeding for it to work. You can see that bleed actually does a decent chunk of damage too. Even though the hemorrhage shot didn't finish it on its own, the bleed ticks still managed to take care of things for me. Alright, so we are at, you know, we're basically done with this biome. Gonna need to just go ahead and head back to that challenge rift now. Does this give me more HP? 10 more? Neither gives me additional jumps. I mean, we'll go ahead and take it. I gotta go with green. Love that more HP for the challenge rift, but we're gonna need that scroll count pretty shortly here, I believe, if I end up trying to go to the prison depths, which I most likely will be. Close there. And thank God we didn't actually have to deal with any of those long jumping segments, which are very difficult if you don't have any kind of... Oh, go ahead and take this. Mainly just for the green scaling. I love you, Fire Grenade, but Death Orb does have the correct scaling, so that's what we're going to use. But yeah, if you've got an affix on your neck that increases your number of jumps, those long jumping segments are extremely easy. Otherwise, I swear I get hit like every time. And I don't know why I didn't take this earlier. I guess I really love those secret walls. This is going to give me a significant amount more HP, though. I think we're okay for now. We'll save money. Let me grab this food before I get out of here. And on to the promenade. Nothing in here we really need. And we are going to start with gastronomy. And if you don't know, because of the nerf to necromancy, only healing you up to a potential of 50% of your max HP, gastronomy is kind of the go-to mutation for keeping yourself alive now. And, you know, the extra benefit from the food, restoring more health, is very useful. And survival has a big enough HP pool that you don't really have to worry about not taking dead inside. So you should just be able to keep yourself alive with survival's innate HP. Don't take dead inside so you can still heal. And keep yourself alive with gastronomy. But another cool thing about gastronomy, you know what? Might have to wait until I'm done fighting these guys to talk about it. This could get a little hectic right here in just a second. Oh god. Well, that was extremely unfortunate that that spawned on me right while I was in the middle of throwing my heavy axe. But, you know, didn't take any melees. Nothing too terrible there. But yeah, the other nice thing about gastronomy is if you recycle your food, then it actually gives you an attack buff. And that attack buff is not huge. It can get up to, you know, at higher levels of survival, it can be like 20 or 30%, but at lower levels, it's only going to be like 15. So not great, but it stacks. So every piece of food you recycle increases that buff. And that buff lasts for 5 minutes. So you can actually leave a piece of food out, take it right before you go into a difficult area, or the next area, that is, or a boss fight or something. So ideally for me, I would leave some food up right here, and then right before I go into prison depths, I would recycle it so I can get that buff. Telluric Shock is really doing some good with this build too. Complementing the single target aspects of it very well. That guy running right in front of that. Taking the hit for his buddy. What a friend. think I'm still good. I'm gonna save my money until I hopefully can find a weapon upgrade, either for my bow or for the hemorrhage. And, you know, oh, tonic. You know, I just used tonic so much in the last run. Let's go ahead and recycle that. As much as I'd love to take it, it's very good. Oh my god. And that's what Telluric Shock can do for you. That was just an insane situation, but thank god I had that. My camera isn't working. Totally right. Or maybe it is. Maybe I'm just seeing the delay. Still kind of ironing out the kinks here with the streaming thing. Very new to it. So I apologize if anything is less than perfect. Oh god. That was unfortunate. Telluric shocked right into him, and he was instantly invincible. Come on. There we go. And we got him down before the shield came back, thank god. So this is what we wanted right here. So we do have to make sure the ice bow has the right affix, the bleeding upon thaw, and it's actually very common, so shouldn't be hard to get. This is kind of a biome where I think I generally am going to prefer to spend a lot of money to make myself as strong as possible for prison depths, or if I had gone toxic sewers, then the corrupted prison after this. So even though these are replaceable items, and you know, it'd be better to save my money if I'm not struggling, I just don't want to take any chances in a situation where I'm cursed. Crates plus 30, that's solid. And ammo plus 3. Shoots an arrow in front of you too. This is pretty much a straight upgrade, and it's pretty cheap. We're gonna go ahead and grab that because we haven't re-rolled yet. That one does have the 20% damage, which is nice, but let's see if we can get a better ice bow too. Why not? There's a thawing, bleeding ice bow, and another one. See, it just happens all the time. Slow down after thaw spreads to additional enemies, or slow down after thaw 2 times longer. You know what? For the sake of fighting larger groups, I'm going to take this one. Spread it to the enemies nearby. 40% damage to burning, that's pretty funny. And we actually did get ammo plus 3 on both of these. So I was kind of planning on having to take ammo later. Let's go get this chest too. Damn defender. Didn't know he was there. Hate these guys. They are by far the hardest part of Promenade. My frame drop is looking extremely high. 36% according to OBS Streamlabs right now, which is not what you want to see. Probably not going to take anything here. We already bought 2 weapons earlier. Climbing up that ledge almost caused me to get hit by that bat there. That could have been rough. Where is that defender? Another challenge rift. Well, we are off to a very strong start here. For some reason it spawns down here. Okay. I mean, I guess that's fine. And a 2 survival neck. That is going to be extremely nice in prison depths. But already I'm not really worried about my damage output. Might consider going back to that skill shop and trying to get an ice armor. So ice armor, you know, okay, here we go. These are the rooms I was talking about. I just cannot make that long jump there. And usually I don't fall and get hit by the short one either, but the long one tends to get me. Anyway, so yeah, the nice thing about ice armor is that it lets you take a hit while you're cursed and stay alive. And with how difficult that can be in the prison depths, and corrupted prison especially, I think corrupted prison is more difficult. And I should have Guen here to confirm for me that it's working shortly. Hopefully it will be. Alright, that is a confirmation that we're good. So let's get back to it. About to head into prison depths. Hopefully we can... Did I already eat food here? I don't think I saw any food. I was hoping to get some before I went in there. Well, regardless, we should be fine.
Can you pause it for a second? It's not
gonna do that. Hopefully things are good. This is extremely sloppy and I apologize. Is there anywhere else I needed to go over here? All right. So I was planning on taking ammo here, but because I have ammo +3 on both items, you know, I might look into a different mutation. I'm thinking Instinct is definitely one that I knew I wanted to take. I guess we'll just go with that. It should be helpful down the line. Everything working okay over there?
The chat is.
Speaking of technical difficulties, it's all right. I'll get this figured out at some point. But about to go into prison depths. Definitely. Well, I would say the second hardest biome in the whole game, behind just corrupted prison, which is a very similar biome in nature and would just be along an alternate path. So you can only do one or the other. But today we're doing prison depths. I think it's a lot easier with a more single target oriented build. And that is a pretty decent giant killer, but we're showcasing the ice bow and the hemorrhage today, so I'm not going to take that. Stream working okay? So it's skipping, it's not just like slow down or frame drop. Gotcha. Yeah, that's not good. Curse lifted. So we are cruising. Deathlord did some work. And that's the thing about prison depths. It doesn't have an extremely high density of enemies, but they're all very powerful. But this build seems to handle that kind of enemy distribution pretty well. Gwen likes to call these guys Joey Big Hands, which I personally much prefer to their actual name, which I don't even remember because it's just pretty generic. Joey Big Hands is hilarious. And those guys are just coming out of nowhere. Luckily for me, I've got the stutter on the hemorrhage and the ice bow giving me CC. Not really letting anything get too close to me. But that guy wasn't even allowed to play the game. Not bad. Go ahead and take that one. Let's see what we can get here. New Vampirism, definitely the worst skill in the entire game. So risky that I can't imagine it ever being worth it. Still not going to take another tonic yet. We do have an ice armor. No, I think I'm good for now. I'm just going to save the money. Yeah, when I've got space to work with, there is nothing that can even get close to me. And the hemorrhage itself has some pretty good CC, you know, as I was saying earlier, once you get it going. So you just need that first shot with the ice bow. It's nice and quick to get yourself set up. Wow, somehow froze that bad twice without killing it. Guy's trying to do stuff. I don't like it. So another really nice thing about the Hemorrhage, and I guess the ice bow, now that I'm using it this way, is that typically one of the problems with survival is that it's hard to get synergies set up. Maybe this is not the easiest time to try to explain something, as I've got a million guys buzzing around me, but yeah, both of these items give you bleeding synergy, which you can in turn use to make your other skills more powerful. It's not a luxury that survival often has, especially if you can get a Hemorrhage with bleeding causes poisoning. Get some double synergy just from that one item. And another challenge rift. Oh my god. Well, it's definitely been a lucky run so far. Extra jump in midair, like I was saying, always good to have for these rifts. That was close. Forgot you can't roll dodge through those. That was pretty close. Could have been a lot worse than it was. Got out of there already. That was not bad at all. Maybe I'm just starting to get more used to this patch. Ooh, this thing is pretty good. Doesn't give me the arrow. I'm gonna stick with the old one, just for the extra ammo. We're gonna go Ancient Sewers. Probably don't need to go this way. Normally I would only go this way if I feel like I need the extra scrolls, and I've gotten so lucky with the challenge rifts that obviously scrolls aren't really an issue, but at the same time I've gotten so many extra scrolls that I'm kind of thinking Conjunctivius might not be that hard. So what do I take with this now? I don't have a shield. I could take Frostbite maybe? You know, maybe ammo is just the way to go. Combo's not useless. Vengeance, very helpful for survival and boss fights. You know? Let's take Vengeance. And I don't know if it's going to be that useful. Like in biomes where I'm not getting hit that often, it probably won't be. But against a boss, and at this point, that's honestly all I'm really worried about now that I'm past Prison Depths. It could be worth it, especially later in the game. Not that I can't just change my mutations later in the game, but any way we can save money is generally a good thing. Yeah, this setup is working pretty well so far. Going into this... Oh, I thought those were the spikes that stay down until you step over them. I was wrong. Anyway, going into this run, I was actually a little worried. I haven't used Iceberg that much. A good buddy of mine, Mighty Mouse, has been telling me that it's pretty good, especially with slow survival weapons, and you know, I kind of realized this synergy and thought I'd give it a try. It sounded a little gimmicky to me maybe, but it has been absolutely crushing it so far. You know, I'm down a little bit of HP, but no melees still. The elites can't even play. They're not allowed to play Dead Cells. And another weakness that Hemorrhage normally would have is it's so slow, it's just so hard to hit bats with it. But Ice Bow, definitely good for that. Get this free elite kill. I can only imagine. Literally as easy as it gets. And I think I'm definitely on a delay here, but Ancient Sewers really does love its spike traps. It's kind of ridiculous. Sometimes I feel like I've gone like 3 teleporting portals in a row without fighting a single enemy and just going through a crap ton of spikes. I guess I'm glad that there's not any cursed chests in here. That would be a huge pain, especially with the poison water. Or sewage, I guess. This is a sewer. Where are you going? Need to eat this baguette soon. If you guys didn't know, the developers of this game are French. They think it's very funny that I'm using baguettes to heal myself. Although there are different settings. Admittedly, I just think the baguette one is funny. You can make the food be a variety of different things. Something that I think the community has been clamoring for is making it so that you have a random food at the start of every run. And I think that sounds cool. You know, it's extremely unnecessary, but I wouldn't complain if they put it in the game. For now, I'm just going to keep eating baguettes. And see, I didn't even have to hit that guy with Hemorrhage. The Ice Bow with the bleed just did all the damage on it. Oh, God! Couldn't quite move fast enough. You had the slow or the fast guy behind the big slow guy tanking the Ice Bow hits. It's all right. There's still that baguette just chilling back there. What am I doing? I can come grab that at any time, and because I'm taking gastronomy, that's a 100% HP restore. Still only 1 melees, but oh, what is this? Don't usually see these in these rooms, and we've got a get good room. It's unusual, very rare spawn, but if you haven't seen this before, I hear it's a Dark Souls reference. And if you click on this sword at this campfire, it spawns an enemy that gives you a ton of cells, which I'll show you in a second. But there's also writing on the wall that says to get good. Yeah, you know, obvious internet slang, but I don't see the cells guy. Normally he's right here. Huh. Well, that was weird. I think it's just the campfire that's a Dark Souls reference and not the actual gate code itself. But I could be wrong. We're gonna deal with this guy first. Because trying to deal with those random spikes coming out of the ground while I'm fighting an elite sounds really relatively unenjoyable. This guy's done. Just done cakes. Oh my god. Meant to grab that ledge there and just plummeted directly into the spikes instead. I'm a highly skilled player at this game. I am getting a little up there in run time. I probably need to start speed running this bad boy a little more. I think I'm going the wrong way. Not helping my speedrunning score there. Which of course is a metric that doesn't exist because I just made it up. And a nutcracker actually would probably be really solid with this thing. You can jump off if you want to. So for Conjunctivius, you know, I really like Telluric Shock. But he's always flying around in the air. Hitting him with Telluric Shock, not always the easiest. Let's see what else we can find. Mushroom Boy ground bound. Here we go. This is what we want. Would have liked it to have some kind of bleeding synergy, but still just gonna do some serious damage. And why not reroll again just to see what we can get? I refuse to take tonic. It's so good, but after using it all run last time, it just doesn't seem like the right move. There's another shop up here. 50% damage at max HP. Still has the bleed on thaw. Slow down after thaw. This is pretty much straight upgrade. This is nice. And you don't have ammo +3. I lose the arrow in front. But I gain weapon level and 10% damage. And an arrow behind me, who knows? Let's do it. Take this teleporter. Okay, it looks like I do need to go back this way that I thought was the wrong way, but apparently isn't. Yeah, we're good. There we go. We got some infected food there, which the nice thing about gastronomy is normally that's close to useless. I mean, it does give you a little bit of gold. It's not totally useless. And I think that gold is actually increased with the newest update where they rebalance the economy. But now it's going to give me a damage buff for 5 minutes. And we're just going to carry that directly into Conjunctivius and hopefully kick his ass with it. But yeah, enough time in these sewers over here. Let's pop into this room and see what we can buy with these keys. There's a hemorrhage. I'm sure I'm not going to find anything better than... I'm just going to sell all the things. Sell you. And I'm going to sell you. So, Conjunctivius is by far the hardest of the first bosses. I don't know why I've been fighting him so much. I guess, you know, it basically gives you an extra scroll over going toward the concierge, which is like just brain dead easy. So that's a huge advantage. Last time I tried to fight him with Swift Sword, which is a melee weapon, and it could have gone worse, so maybe fighting him with a ranged weapon, albeit an extremely slow ranged weapon. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work just fine. Got a decent scroll count here. I hope I didn't miss one. No, I think it's because I went Promenade, which only had 2 scroll fragments instead of 3. That's why I'm down a scroll compared to what I would normally think I would have here.
There's no other hammers.
7 ammo, 8 ammo. I think we're good. I think we are good. Let's get in there quick. Well, I've still got the food buff from gastronomy. Because another thing about this boss, can be kind of a slow fight. So I'm not sure if the food buff is going to last the whole time, but it should still do me some good. Punch you with that giant fist there. And already I can tell you are going to be hard to hit with Hemorrhage. But if I can land a hit, it gives me a nice little stun. It's all about just getting that one hit. And Ice Bow is actually going to be really good on these tentacles too. Death Orb less so. Got a decent damage out of it on that one though. Might have been luck. Alright. Let's see if we can start chunking him with this thing. Look at this, he can't even move! Well, I was extremely wrong about Hemorrhage being bad against this boss. It's something that it doesn't actually tell you in the description of the weapon, but Hemorrhage gives you a little bit of a stutter every time you hit something. I know I've already brought that up. I'm just surprised the game doesn't, you know, highlight that a little. It's very useful. Why do those tentacles have so much HP? Like, that was a giant's missile hit, and it still didn't go down. Was that flawless? I'm actually not sure. It might have been. I do have 100% HP. That makes me think it was. Wow. Okay. So I guess going this way was the right choice. We're going to go Sanctuary for the scroll fragments. It was, yeah. The door's open for me, and we will get a legendary tentacle. So obviously I'm not going to take that because in this run I am focusing on 2 weapons. So ditching either of them immediately invalidates the point of this, but also tentacle, it's not my favorite. It's usable, but it just can be kind of bad in certain situations where the enemies are getting too close. They recently changed it in 1.9 to add a kick to it that supposedly kicks enemies away to help you use the tentacle more like a mid-range weapon as it's intended. But I find that kick is kind of iffy. Like, it doesn't really seem to have made Tentacle any better, because it's like half the time that I try to use that kick, it just doesn't even do it. It just does the normal Tentacle hit anyway. Well, that was weird. I was afraid he was still going to shoot that at me. Ooh. Alright, well, I knew there'd be a cursed chest in here, but maybe let's... I'm glad I didn't grab that right before running over all these spikes. I'll just say that. Although, actually, that didn't look particularly hard to get through. Alright. Let's see if we can find an ice armor for that curse. Bam. And Death Orb's alright, but I'm just going to feel a lot safer taking this thing for now. Especially, ice armor is just really good in general, too. Corrosive Cloud. That's pretty solid. I'm going to get rid of it anyway. Don't want to ditch the Giant's Whistle, and need the ice armor for this curse. Need might be a strong word, but I'm not trying to get killed at this point in the run. What you doing down here? I'll just pick off some guys from a distance. Just play like a little bitch right now. Oh god. That actually could have bit me in the ass there. One more to go. Just pick off this bat. There we go. Alright, so someone says they need help with dead cells. Yeah, feel free to shoot that question at me. Let me know what you need. That dodge, that was quick. And even with double trouble, they can't even play the game with this build. It's pretty nice. So you have the cavern key. I think... Well, there's an obelisk outside the front of the entrance to the cavern that you have to insert that key into. Is it letting you insert that key there? If it's not, you should be able to look at an inventory screen and see if you actually have the key. I'm not 100% sure about this, but you might have to go back and start the run over if you didn't grab the key at the start of the run. I'm not sure. So if you grabbed the key, beat the Hand of the King, and then start it over, I'm not sure if it stays in your inventory or not. Alright, so it was just the obelisk. Alright, well, glad to see I helped you resolve that one. And, hey, good luck. Cavern is definitely one of my favorite biomes. It's really not very obvious. So I totally hear you. The whole situation with the cavern key, I mean, I think it throws a lot of people off. I actually had to look it up myself, so. There's definitely some good blueprints in there, too. I think you get Boy's Axe in there. War Javelin, of course. Yeah, that's a really fun one in 1.9. I'm still not totally sure how good the new War Javelin is, but being able to use it to teleport is extremely badass. So, hopefully you'll grab it and enjoy. Alright, let's just head back. One thing Sanctuary likes to do is to try to trick you into teleporting all the way back to the beginning of the biome after you hit that thing. So you have to fight all the monsters that are now awakened after you've hit that switch. Generally, it's worth it just to go back through the traps. Unless you're trying to kill all the monsters, you know. I'll check the Explorer's Instinct rune afterwards and make sure there's nothing over there that has a scroll that I'd like to go back and snag. We need to find this defender. well, that dodge. I am clearly not used to fighting these guys. I think they were changed recently to make that dodge a little more effective or something. Or maybe I just need to get good. But I always thought those guys did seem a little too easy before. You know, I think I'm more surprised with the performance of Icebow. I've used Hemorrhage with pretty decent success before. And it's been a while, so it's still performing better than I thought it would, especially, you know, most bosses are resistant to CC in general, so I did not expect it to be able to stun lock Conjunctivius like that. Like, I can tell you right now, that is not going to work on Hand of the King. It probably wouldn't work on the Giant. But that said, going into this, I was just a little worried about Icebow being able to work effectively in a large group. But, you know, picked up Telluric Shock early, and that basically took care of that problem for me. Telluric Shock being just on a 10-second cooldown, it's pretty easy. Like, you know, you're not going to run into a huge pack every pack. So as long as I have Telluric Shock up for, like, every other pack, it's going to cover the Icebow's weaknesses for me. And it did well, and now I don't even have Telluric Shock anymore, and I'm still cruising. But I think that is partly because I planned my route in a way where I would no longer have to deal with rats. So basically, being past prison quarters, I didn't go to Graveyard because of those rats, and also because this biome has more scroll fragments now, 1.9. So that was another reason to come here. You know what? I'm going to have to go back if I want to explore over there. Actually, I should be able to just come up here. But yeah, that covered the early game weakness as well, and now that I'm just in biomes where it's more slightly smaller clusters of more difficult enemies, the Icebow is just really killing it. And you know, the Icebow, it has a reputation for a long time in this game. It was just absolutely busted. In the early goings, it was, you know, I didn't play this game before 1.7, so I can't say from first-hand experience, but I know the Icebow was considered like the most broken weapon in the entire game. I think the freeze gave you like 2 or 3 seconds of freeze, and now it only gives you like a half a second, which, you know, it actually works to the benefit of this Hemorrhage build, because I need them to thaw right before the Hemorrhage hits so that the bleed synergy is still up. But still, can you imagine Icebow having a 2 or 3 second freeze? I mean, and it being that fast with such long range? Especially, I think it was kind of easy to get a pierce all enemies synergy on it, so you just shoot one shot, freeze an entire hallway of enemies, and just, you know, do as you will with them from there. Ooh. The off-screen grenade throwing guy. Notoriously, they are bastards. I'm not gonna take that yet. I'll come back to it before I leave this room, but just in case I get hit again. Gotta love that Giant's Whistle. Kind of a cheese weapon, but really fun. And very good. Oh, there was a Rampager, a Joey Big Hands, that is. Ooh. Demons, man. Icebow is pretty good for those, though. A nice quick ranged weapon, just to knock them out of the sky, is generally what you need. And I've just gotten used to fighting them in general, but my god, when I first started encountering demons, I thought they were so hard. Game really wants me to take tonic. Normally I would be like, thank you very much. Elite Golem. That wasn't bad. That was tolerable. Kite that guy to death. Oh, and there's a chest back here too. I can just freely grab. So the smoke bomb, it's an interesting weapon, skill, I guess I should say. It's not really my favorite, but there are times where it's really useful, and that's particularly if you're in a room with a bunch of enemies that are all protected by those defenders, which are like those totem pole guys that generate shields, and you've just got to fight your way through a group of like 10 invincible enemies before you can even make your way to that thing. Obviously, in those situations, it's really helpful to be able to just go invisible and kill the defender, and then deal with the enemies that are actually hittable. I really need to find a teleporting thing. So, not going to Cavern today. We are going to go to Clock Tower instead. And normally I really prefer to fight the Giant. Timekeeper is just such a spaz. But, oh, and there was a rune on the ground I'm sure I could have earned a little money from. But you can't freeze the Giant. And I'm not sure if you can freeze the eye, but I don't think you can freeze the eye. And because of that, this Ice Bow synergy isn't going to do much, but I'm pretty sure Timekeeper is actually relatively susceptible to CC, like freeze. So, even if I can't use it the whole fight, it should at least do me some good. I have to actually maybe confirm that. Mighty Mouse, if you're still there, how is Ice Bow against Time? Ooh, caught me. Right when the ice armor wore off, too. That was unfortunate. So Instinct is giving me almost a second with every hit now. So with these longer cooldown skills like Ice Armor and the Whistle, it's pretty solid. Okay, so we might not get much out of the freeze. Yeah, I think most bosses are hittable with Wolf Trap. It seems like motion between decided hit rates should work better on bosses than freeze, which, like, I get. But when it comes to the new dual-handed crossbows, like Ice Crossbow and Repeater Crossbow, You've got Ice Crossbow that works great in biomes, but because you can't freeze the bosses, you can't ever get critical hits against them, and then you're stuck with like a 60, oh god, a 60 DPS weapon against a boss. And it's like, what are you gonna do, really? Whereas Repeater Crossbow, because it lets you get those roots, and has better base DPS anyway, it's still actually usable. So I really think Ice Crossbow needs to be looked at again. Either that, or they just really intended to be a weapon that you only use in biomes. Even the bosses that you can't freeze, you know, they build up resistance to it after a couple hits, and then you're not getting crits for the rest of the fight, or at least for several seconds. So, from my brief experience with the weapon, it doesn't go away. But, you know, even if Ice Bow doesn't give me too much here, I'm not feeling too bad about it. Having ranged items in general is pretty strong against Timekeeper. Normally I like to have a shield so I can parry those throwing stars, but I think we're going to be okay. And I definitely think Wolf Trap is solid in that boss, but I find, at least in 4 or 5 BC, it was seeming like Timekeeper could turn around on the Wolf Trap. So I would get behind her and then just start hammering away with whatever melee weapon I had, and just, you know, we'd just be trading hits, which was okay, because then I'd get the rally. Oh, Caloric Shock. I think I want this back. I definitely do. Because now I don't really have anything to help me deal with groups of enemies anymore. That was kind of in that giant swarm of flies that came out of that treasure chest. But yeah, like I said, the rally still worked for me against Timekeeper. But I was definitely taking melees from the hits while she was in there. That guy just didn't care that Ice Bow existed for a while there for some reason. Maybe because he was on fire. What's in here? Shop. I think we're actually good. And even at this point in the game, you know, my scroll count is actually really doing pretty well. Like I've got a solid amount of scrolls here. But Hemorrhage is still one-shotting almost everything. And you know what? Just stop talking about doing well, because it always gets me hit. I'm fine with this. Oh, this does have the better damage reduction, though. I think I have to take it for the damage reduction. But I might look to take an off-color scroll soon. I'm not one to let my HP dip too low, even though I am survival. It's not like brutally low, but oh god, that invisible guy taking a shot for his friend there. Got the key, just need to get Explorer's Instinct to activate. So I can make sure I've collected all the stuff in here. Like this stuff. 21% HP and better Vengeance, I'm taking it. Like maybe Vengeance will actually pay off against Timekeeper a little bit. Another scroll. Oh, this is so solid. good. I'm gonna go for survivability. So many people would... Man, that shield would have been good against Timekeeper. We're not playing that way. We don't play that way. Just 2 shots, the elite. As tempting as that is. There's still another scroll. How many scrolls are in this biome? Well, I'm not complaining. So we're at a solid amount of HP. Nice baguette for me to snag back there before I pull the boss. That's a tough elite right there. Somehow I persevered and made it through there. So we're just going to head right back to that baguette. And then go on to the Timekeeper. Is this the closest? Okay. Let's see how this build is against the Timekeeper. I really have no idea how it's going to be. Can't take a ton of hits. I think I probably have to worry about my melees more than I have to worry about my actual HP. I could probably take a mutation for that. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do that, actually. Am I worried that I'm gonna need it mid-fight? Yeah, I'm gonna switch up my mutations just for this boss, and then I'll just switch them back after. I have plenty of money, so it shouldn't be too costly to do that. So, we're not gonna need gastronomy, but we are gonna take Dead Inside. Nice extra HP buffer and melees buffer. Necro to reduce the melees after the boss. And stick with Instinct. Get some more Giant's Whistle in there.
And in G11?
So Icebow does give you a nice little stutter, and it keeps interrupting for attacks. And the Hemorrhage seems to be... This is... it's working. It's working. And I did get tagged there, but traded the hits and pushed the phase before she could capitalize on it. So the freeze isn't really lasting long? Ooh, whoops. Oh my god, the Icebow there. That was just insane. I was able to freeze her after getting pulled in by the Scorpion throwing whip thing and cancel her follow-up attack. Got hit a few times, didn't really lose too much health. All the melees that I took got canceled out by Necromancy. This is a good Crusher that generates a Toxic Cloud. We're gonna take this Crusher. And if you haven't used Crusher in 1.9 yet, it's really good. Now that it's got the slow, it's much easier for keeping enemies in its space. Well, you know, it's slow, but because it slows enemies too, it's easier to hit with. It does a lot of damage during its total duration if you can hit with all of it. And if you've got it generating a toxic cloud, or turrets and deployable traps in general just have some extremely good affixes that they can come with. Like, if I had fire or any kind of poison synergy, then spreading inflammable oil and generating a toxic cloud would both be extremely useful. Arrows stuck in enemies come back. I mean, both of my weapons have ammo, so that's going to be extremely helpful. You can even get them to have damage reduction on them, so it is solid. But we gotta set our mutations back. So we're going to need gastronomy so we can actually use food again and hopefully get ourselves a nice damage buff before we go into the Hand of the King. Which is another fight that maybe I'm a little worried about, because Hand of the King has that shield that blocks ranged attacks, and Hemorrhage's throws are so slow. Each one that gets blocked is a lot more punishing compared to something like the quick bow where you just fire off another shot real quick. But anyway, what do I want here? Gastronomy. Definitely. Instinct, I think that's still a solid bet. What would be good in biomes? I don't really know. What's up, Sir Bossma? Thanks for watching. Just trying to figure out my third mutation for High Peak Castle before I go into the Hand of the King here. You know, I could just go with something pretty generic. Heart of Ice, unfortunately, isn't going to work with this build because Hemorrhage is not a melee weapon. There's not much. I'm going to take combo. Maybe help me get through this biome just a little bit quicker. And it looks like I actually have planned out the scroll fragments pretty well. So High Peak Castle has 2 scroll fragments in it, and I'm at 2 after that Timekeeper fight. So I will finish with a nice even number of scrolls that gets, or scroll fragments that gives me another scroll. So we'll actually get 5 scrolls out of this biome, which, you know, normally after fighting the giant, I like to just go straight to the Hand of the King, which in turn only gives you 2 scrolls. So this is going to make me a lot sturdier. My scroll count is going to be really high. Hey, thanks for the follow, Sir Bossman. I really appreciate that. I'll have to check out your stream as well. You know, I just started, and this is a lot of fun. So I'm still working out a lot of kinks, unfortunately. Been having a couple technical issues in my early streams, but nothing too terrible. Hopefully after this I can post a cohesive video that's kind of been edited together to make it a little more tolerable to watch. And the poison from that Crusher actually does synergize a little bit with the Hemorrhage, because the Hemorrhage also gives you crits on poisoned enemies. Even though it doesn't inflict poison itself, you can still use poison for crits. But realistically, after this biome, and just, I mean, that's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. After this biome, I need to look into rerolling some of these items to get some extra bonus pointed poison damage. I know you want to come down here. There you go. Joey Big Hand's getting a little friendly there. I need to have Gwen just come in on a couple of these streams and and tell me what all these guys are called. Because it's usually hilarious. And now, apparently, I've decided to be a crazy person and just roll this entire area. And I think that Crusher might have just killed everything. It happened off screen, I didn't even see it, but yeah, you go, Crusher. Crusher, really good now. It was always a weapon or a skill that I thought was kind of bad, but still usable just because of how strong survival was, and it had the survival scaling. Corrupted artifact. 10,000 gold is quite a bit in the new economy, but I think it gives you a 20 kill curse. I'm not really hurting for money. There's no reason to risk the run at this point. And in long hallways like this, Icebow just does some serious work. Even those giant guys getting one shot by Hemorrhage right now. I do have 30 scrolls, which is quite good, especially because I've even considered, or I've you know, intentionally taken off-color scrolls. 53 streak. So that blue door is where the elite slasher is. Not that I really think an elite is going to present much difficulty right now, but there's no reason to push it when I'm so close to the streak. Might as well just get this thing done and then I'll head in. Oh god, he blocked me. Wow, and that was right after I got the streak. That could have been ugly if he had hit me at like 59 or something, but I think I got just over 60 kills before he tagged me there. Dude, yeah, I mean, the more I talk about how good the run is going, the more likely I am to get hit. That's actually just science. Like, you know, it's in peer-reviewed journals and stuff. Have a crusher, have a freeze, and you're dead. Holy shit. This little mini Hand of the Kings. Definitely the hardest enemies in here. Go ahead and grab this third key, and then we probably can try to find the exit. I haven't been keeping track of how many scrolls I have. So after we go toward the exit, we'll see if we can get Explorer's Instinct to activate. See if I need to go back and get anything more. I'll throw a Crusher right there for no reason at all, apparently. I'm sure you can guess that's what I meant to do. And I didn't even have to hit that Rampager with Hemorrhage at all. Just the bleed from the Icebow did all the work. Just let you sit right there. I actually still don't even know where the exit of this biome is. Might be worth looking at the shops too. I think I have 9s and a Crusher 8. Crusher has good synergy though. But maybe we can find an even better one. A wolf trap with oil that burns and a toxic cloud. Holy crap. That's good. Yep, we're gonna snag this wolf trap. And the Giant's Whistle does bonus damage to rooted targets, which is a new affix that was added in 1.9. But it's going to be working to my advantage here. Another shop up here. Alright. The main thing is to get a better Hemorrhage. 40% damage. And crits plus 20. The rest of it's not great. But just from sheer level. So what do I lose taking this? I do lose the ammo. Which is that's tough. That's tough. I'm not gonna take it. Let's see if I can get one that has ammo plus 3. That's what I wanted. So this is basically the same Hemorrhage that I have now, but at a higher level. And that's what we're gonna roll with. Let's go down there to get it. We're at 56 minutes already. This is getting a little long. But we'll just try to hurry and get out of here. As much as this damage buff would be nice, I'm actually going to take it for health. The Malleus reduction here. Onto the hand. And my scroll count is so high that I don't anticipate anything going wrong. Normally I think extra damage to bleeding. Well, we've got a lot of bleeding go. Oh, it doesn't give bleeding upon thaw. We're not taking it. Oh, wait. What about you? Nope. Normally I'd be a little worried about fighting the hand with a slow build that is also ranged, so he can just block my attacks, but so many scrolls and the ice bow giving me a little more speed. I think it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna keep instinct. Go back to that same combo from earlier too, dead inside necro, since I had I was really thinking I was gonna have to use the ammo mutation this whole run, but because I managed to get ammo plus 3 on both items, I haven't needed it. And maybe that's just easier to do because you know, I've got custom mode set so that only those 2 items are appearing. It's easier to kind of cycle through and get what I want. So in a normal run, you'd probably have to do that. I have no idea how he didn't hit me there. And he got the tag. See, right there, I got him to block the ice bow shot. Oh, that was a little weird. And terrifying. Got a couple hits on me, but... you know, I'll take it. Why don't you guys come up here and sit in this little threat? That's good. Just like I asked you to. Why don't you come over here, friend? Hemorrhage throw is just so slow. But still, I mean, you can't complain about that. I think he only hit me like 3 times. And with how much HP I have, it was painless. Alright. Last biome. Starting to get expensive to reset these mutations. I wonder how high it goes. But I'm gonna do it. I have money. 8,000 is the limit. That's so low. It used to be 100,000 in 1.8. Which obviously, I mean, gold was worth less back then, but it's still nice to know that you can just keep resetting your mutations, basically. Okay. So, gastronomy, instinct. Guess I'll take combo again. Maybe I could take support for the increased damage while near my traps. I don't know. Ranged survival without a shield just has so few options. Like, bizarrely few. When it comes to mutations, I mean. So this is the quote-unquote secret biome that unlocks after you beat the Hand of the King on 5 BC. And actually, the Hemorrhage blueprint comes from this biome. So you can't get this blueprint that I'm using right now until you reach 5 BC. There's a couple other blueprints in here too. The Thunder Shield, which in my opinion is the best shield in the entire game. And also the Sonic Carbine, which is notorious for being an absolutely terrible weapon, especially considering, you know, it's in this secret biome at the end of the game. You'd think it would actually be good, right? But no, it was terrible. I guess he doesn't give a crap about that wolf trap. A little surprised I didn't get hit there. But Sonic Carbine did get buffed in 1.9. So it's usable now. It got a like substantial damage buff. It also got a decent range buff. So it's like, how can it still not be that good? Like, considering all that, it's just pretty slow for a tactics weapon, and its stats still just aren't that great. So it's playable, but I wouldn't recommend it probably. Especially because, I mean, the whole thing about tactics is like, you know, you've got lower HP than the other scroll types, so you gotta have insanely good weapons and skills to make up for that. And I just don't think Sonic Carbine quite fits into that category. Oh, that little bastard. Oh, and then the Giant's Whistle didn't hit him because there's an elite down there. That defender down there, putting the shield up right before... Oh, okay, here we go. And now we're getting into the 4 stat scrolls. So we're definitely going to want to take that. I'm at 34. Survival. I mean, this run has been quite kind to me. Those mobile defenders, I mean, you kind of think of them as just a invincibility source for the other enemies, but they actually will club you with that totem pole thing if you get too close. They don't exactly have a lot of health and it's not that fast, but it can still catch you off guard if you're not ready for it. Start enemy here. Oh my god. Well, I'm not gonna pass this up. Damn, but what do I drop? The Wolf Trap or the Giant's Whistle? You know, I think the reason I was hanging on to the Wolf Trap was because it poisoned the enemy. And the Owl already does that. So let's just snag this out. Now it's like I'm playing tactics here, you know? Except for the Giant's Whistle, of course, but Hemorrhage and Ice Bow are both also tactics scaling things. I think in general you'd probably rather play them with survival, so you have more HP. But you can play them with tactics. And then you could take an Owl like this one without having to get a legendary. But if you don't know, Owl is just insanely good. It's probably, in my opinion, the best skill in the whole game. But it's also kind of like taking a shield in that you really have to know what you're doing to do it. Because if you're just going in and getting hit a crapload by everything and losing your Owl all the time, then it's not doing you much good. Otherwise, it is busted. Similarly with shields, you know, you have to know parry timings, when you can parry and when you can't. Certain attacks are... That was the wrong teleporter to go to. Certain attacks are unparryable. Like most ground slams. I don't have the key for that. Nothing over here either. So what am I missing? I'm still missing both keys, actually. So to start on this, Astrolab always ends with this tower. And to start on this tower, you need to have basically 2 keys to get in that are dropped by elites. And Astrolab is so spread out, and everything's floating around in such weird ways. Where did my owl go? I think he might have run into one of those electric beams and killed himself. That actually can happen. Always a little frustrating when it does. But if I can make it 20 seconds without him, I'll be sad, but... Man, I can't believe I didn't hit the librarian. And against those bombers, too, it's like, you know, the ice bow just freezes them so they fall out of the sky and then take the falling damage. That's a pretty easy way to get a kill. the first elite. This guy will give me a key. Giant's Whistle. Sure makes elites hard. There probably was a teleporter down there. Yep. And there's Explorer's Instinct. That's just what I wanted. Another scroll up there, and that's also going to be where the last elite is. That'll give me a key. So we'll head up there, and then we'll go through the tower. The Tower of Hell. I used to think it was probably the hardest part of any biome. Now that they made early game so much harder, I think Corrupted Prison and Prison Depths when you're cursed is going to be harder than that. Ooh, at a food shop. So this is just a random spawn. It doesn't always appear in this last biome. Usually it doesn't. So that's actually kind of lucky, and I actually have the money to... Do I? I mean, I at least have the money to afford the malaise reduction. So I will be taking that. I probably should just wrap it up here so I don't have to come back. But I don't want to take too... Oh, it's only 8,000 to re-roll their mutations, too. So we'll do that for now. And that's literally all I need. I'm actually at full health, 0 malaise, and full flasks. And admittedly, the run gave me a lot of challenge rifts. But I also think this weapon combo is working pretty well. Now let's just go straight to the tower. There's no reason to waste any more time. And I fell into the abyss. All right. I had to do something to make things a little more challenging for myself. You out of the way. Owl just does so much damage when that burst is up. And you know, I actually don't even have to freeze enemies with Ice Bow anymore, because I can just have the owl poison them, and then I'll still get the synergy on Hemorrhage, or the crits on Hemorrhage, that is. But the freeze is still nice, because Hemorrhage is pretty slow. Makes it easier to get throw off. Not like it's not worth doing it. It's just not essential for the crits anymore. Wow. Well, that's gonna make things easier. And that was close to a one-shot. I do have gastronomy still, so before I go fight the final boss, I'll go grab that food. Got the money for it, so why not? Alright, Instinct we will keep. We will also go with Dead Inside again. Just for the sake of me not horrifically butchering this thing and losing at the very end. And Emergency Triage is good if you're going for the no-hit. I'm gonna take it. We'll see if I can make the no-hit happen. It's not... I mean, this boss is really hard to do it on. He is freezable. Go ahead. Get that owl up. Shoot that man bird. Takes all my cells, which are, you know, that's very sad. I'd love to give those to a 0 BC player and let them just buy all their blueprints. Oh, there's my owl. I'm glad he flew up there. Let's do it. Bam! Got hit immediately. Hemorrhage is so slow. I thought he was about to catch me with the exact same thing. He is catching me with just about everything right now. And that was a bad time to get hit too, because I just activated the owl. I can't seem to have a good fight with this guy on stream. That owl is just going to work for me while I dodge. I'm surprised the owl can't hit him while he's up there. The hemorrhage is just knocking him out of so many attacks, but with that one where he jumps and the hemorrhage goes under him, that one's dangerous, especially because it does a ton of damage. We're on the final phase. Look at this. These interrupts are ridiculous. He doesn't want to get hit by that whistle. Alright, well, that run was extremely powerful. Admittedly, I did get some good luck with the challenge rifts early on. Got myself 3 extra scrolls from those. I mean, in any typical run, you're bound to get at least 1 extra scroll at some point. So, I mean... getting 2 extra scrolls is nice, but I wouldn't say that I would have struggled without it necessarily. Just a solid setup. You know, the ice bow just way better than I had given it credit for originally. Hemorrhage is, I feel like it's a weapon that a lot of people hate too. They think it's slow, but you know, once you get the crits rolling and you factor in the bleed damage that it, you know, bleed doesn't just apply synergies. It actually does damage too. So Hemorrhage's damage is really high once it gets going. And it gives you synergies that survival doesn't normally have. You know, both solid weapons.
No problem.
Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for stopping by, guys. If you have any other builds that you would like to see, especially with so many cool new things in 1.9, let me know. I'm sure I'll be streaming again relatively soon, and all these videos will be posted after they're done too. If you want to check out some of the cool synergies that I have come up with myself or other viewers have recommended to me. I do have a few ideas of my own too, so if I don't hear anything, I might just drop one of those next time. But yeah, again, thanks for stopping by. It was a lot of fun, and 2 for 2 so far on the stream. Why would I even say that? I don't know. I'm almost guaranteed to lose next time because of it. And have a good day, everyone.